Today on the podcast, we're talking about crabs.
Do you remember that one time in the podcast and you were just like, hey, you ever had any STDs?
I do remember when I asked you that. And you were like, no, have you? And I was like, I did. I don't remember which one, but it was in college. Good times. It was one of those curable ones.
Yep.
All right. So,
Speaking of crabs.
not so much crabs, just a crab. But yes, speaking of crabs, never had it.
Talking about cancer season now we are, friends.
Yeah, we are. We're talking about the season of the crab.
If you're feeling extra moody and you want, soup in 90-degree heat, it's probably a good sign that it's cancer season is here.
Or just blue crabs.
I love
Maryland blue crabs.
my favorite.
Old Bay. Old Bay it up.
Mhm.
I used to hate Old Bay when I was a kid, but we used to get blue crabs every summer. So I would take them and wash them off in the sink.
That's sacrilege
So I've heard. But,
for this Maryland girl.
talk to a 6-year-old Rachel and see if she gave a shit. It's too
I'm going to guarantee
spicy.
that 6-year-old Rachel is a lot like
I think
almost
there's some.
5-year-old Isla.
Yeah, I think there's some similarities. Speaking of Isla, she's a full-on Cancer. Emmeline is a cusp. She's a Gemini Cancer cusp.
Mm-hmm.
And she's June 24th. But Isla, that July 9th, she's Cancer through and through.
Mm-hmm. She's
Now-
alpha of the water signs.
Well, that's the thing. So I'm also a water sign. So we do have a tendency of getting along. Water signs tend to get along with other water signs. Water blends well with water. You know what I mean? So some days are better than others as Emmeline moves into puberty and me into perimenopause. So it should be a good time. But at least
my
we have
gosh.
water on our side.
You have water on your side. I totally forgot to tell you this story.
Yes, tell me.
We were driving back from that resort in West Virginia this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And we're on the highway and this box truck comes by us. I was like, here's your fucking sign, Krystyn. It just says Menopause the Musical 2. We got a video. And I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
The
I
fact
sent
that
you.
there's a second one,
Well, also, yeah.
right? I think we need to dig into this Menopause the Musical. I need to know more. I haven't looked it up.
Is this like the vagina monologues?
Oh, vagina monologues are great.
I know. But did you see I sent you a link to a doctor? So there's a website called menopause.org. And it is where you can find doctors that advocate for menopause, but also perimenopause.
Oh,
And you can find them in your local area. It's a nationwide website. There are some good doctors in our neck of the woods and might be worth checking out.
thanks for sending it along.
I think having more than one recommendation is important. A second opinion.
Second opinion.
Because I think that birth control is used a lot to subdue some of the perimenopause symptoms. And that's not always the course of action. And it's like the easy Band-Aid that a lot of doctors are like, oh yeah, you should just take some birth control. And it's like, well, should you? Or should you be looking at maybe a change in your diet or taking a low dose of one of the particular hormones that might be dragging or lacking? So
But that would require them testing.
yeah. Anyways,
Yeah,
we don't need to
whatever.
talk about that. We're talking about cancer season. And it's such a great season. This is a happy season overall. There's a lot of positive energy associated with the cancer season 2025.
I love that so much.
I do too.
So the Cancer zodiac season generally runs from like June 21st to July 22nd, give or take a day or two.
And at the very beginning of this, like right after it transitions out of Gemini into Cancer, we have an incredible new moon.
Well, and it's ruled by the moon. Cancer season is ruled by the moon.
Also
and
true.
the element of water. So just buckle up for some emotional times, guys.
Yeah. And this new moon is all about starting new projects, starting new beginnings, starting new relationships, starting new jobs. It's all about the birth of. And the energy is really fucking potent. So again, if you are a Cancerian, it's going to be amplified, right? Because this is your sun, moon, or rising sign. But if you're not, if you don't have Cancer in your sun, moon, or rising, you can still utilize this energy, utilize the new moon, set amazing intentions, really pay attention. I think the new moon is June 25th, if I'm not mistaken.
I have all of that on my phone and I don't have access to it at the moment. So,
Okay, great. It's a new moon in Cancer. Coinciding with the start of the Cancer season, this new moon offers a powerful moment for self-reflection and initiating fresh starts, especially in areas related to personal identity and emotional well-being. That emotional well-being is important for Cancers.
well, I mean, Cancers are all about nostalgia and family, emotional security. Like, it just stands to reason that that moon would affect them in a large way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they are good listeners and they are emotional beings. Ask me how I know.
How do you know, Rachel?
But I feel like, having a
Oh, wait.
4-year-old,
Hold
almost
on.
5 years. Yes. Are
We
you going to
didn't.
sneeze?
No, we didn't welcome anybody to the podcast.
Fuck.
Fuck.
Okay.
Welcome to Two Mystic Mamas.
Where we're talking about the Cancer season. So it's not uncommon when we do these back-to-back recordings that we remembered in the first one and the second one can just fuck right off.
Fuck right off. It just doesn't even matter anymore.
We just feel so comfortable with you guys that we're just like, let's go.
Yeah.
Why do we need to welcome? They're
It's like-
already here.
They're already here in the room with us.
Okay, well, I'm glad you caught that because that is a pet peeve of mine when I go to listen and I'm like, okay, we didn't welcome anybody to the podcast.
Yeah, that's all right. Shit happens.
So what I was about to jump into, speaking of my almost 5-year-old, she'll be 5 on July 9th, and Emmeline, both Cancers, my daughters are both Cancers, they are very in touch with their emotions. Not necessarily in a bad way. Though sometimes the emotions can get the better of them because they're growing and they're learning, but they're very comfortable articulating how they feel about things. And I recently was listening to like a childhood psychologist that was talking about, do you have kids that don't listen when you tell them to do something and they're under the age of, I think she said 16 or 17. They have their own thoughts. You say they talk back to you. She's like, those are kids that are confident. They're not just willing to just do whatever you say and be compliant. She's like, and it can make it really challenging to parent children like that. But also that's really important for how they will develop into humans when they're adults. And I think about that a lot with Isla because when I was pregnant with Isla, I knew she was going to be a firecracker in utero. Just her energy in utero, I was like, oh, damn. And you were present for all of that pregnancy. You took pictures and videoed us when we announced it to Emmeline and Graham, which was so amazing.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
So I knew going into Isla's pregnancy and I knew she was going to be a firecracker. And she is. She's got a big personality. But she's sweet and she communicates really clearly and she talks about her feelings a lot. Sometimes she gets feelings confused with what they mean, but
you should get
That's
her the
okay.
kids version of that Wheel of Emotions.
Oh, yeah.
It would be so good for her. I still use it all of the time. Like,
I think it's very helpful.
it's so fabulous. Evie and I have been doing the Finch app. Have you done this? It's like
You told me about this.
Yeah, it's like Tamagotchi for self-care, essentially. And one of the tasks that you can do is naming your emotion. And it starts with, is it pleasant? Is it neutral? Or is it unpleasant? And then it breaks it out into further categories from there. But I think that's whether you have Cancer placements in your house or not, this is such a good exercise to do on the daily. Check in with yourself because those emotions that you have are valid.
Yes.
You don't need to feel bad about having emotions. There's nothing wrong. That's the human fucking experience. Like, lean into it. It is okay. And like, we talked about this in the Scorpio episode when we did your birthday episode too, is like, energy is passion. And I know that like these very emotional signs can get a bad rap. And as with anything, right? If you are in a space where you're feeling very imbalanced, then you can take those things out. Oh, hey, plant. You can take those things out on the people that you love, right?
Totally.
And like, as moms of daughters, we understand this.
I explored that a lot when I first got into my relationship with Jeff, and then also having children and having a very close relationship with my parents, about how easy it is to hurt the people we love the most. And I was like, why? I'd rather hurt somebody that I don't actually give a shit about and say things to them rather than say things to my husband or my kids who I love so much. But again, when you break down the barriers of security, who do you feel the safest with? Those are the people that you're going to be the most honest with. And there's an art to how to deliver that honesty or that truth or that opinion. Because let's be honest, there's plenty of times where we deliver something and it's an opinion, it's not a fact,
right?
And it's a feeling. And how we interpret how people affect us and in turn communicate that back to them is also an art. And so all three of my kids, but my girls especially, love to be in tune with their emotions. They also wear their feelings on their sleeves. Like I can tell when Emmeline comes in what kind of day she's having. She doesn't have to say anything. Sometimes that's better. You know what I mean? Like earlier today, I was making her lunch and I had made the salad last night for her. So I just said, Emmy, you want a salad for lunch today? Yeah. Okay. Do you want dressing or no dressing? Why? I was like, what? Like I haven't even had my coffee yet.
How dare you
And
ask?
I was like, why do you want dressing for your salad? I was like, because normally people eat salad with dressing. Oh, no, I don't want any dressing. Cuckoo.
Why would you even assume that, Rachel?
Just like, what the fuck? So yeah, so they're complex, but also easy at the same time.
I think you bring up a really good point, though, because you were talking about when you're sharing something, it can very much be an opinion, right? And you and I are both intuitive beings that are in touch with multiple clairs. And I think about that sometimes, too, because if you are an intuitive person or an empath or somebody that is like really diving to that spiritual side, it can be very easy to turn your lived experience on and project and kind of mesh that with your intuition. And I think Cancer season is one of these seasons where we might want to be a little cautious about doing that, because it's so easy. We have all these huge tidal emotions that are happening with the moon right now too. So just heed a little bit of caution if you're giving advice out right now.
Well, and that is good advice to take. And I will also, in conjunction with that, offer up Cancerians. Those who fall with Cancer in their sun, moon, and rising are also highly intuitive as well.
Exactly.
And when you're an intuitive person, you can pick up on things that the person that you're talking to has no fucking clue themselves, right? So you can pick up on underlying trauma. You can pick up on emotions and feelings that they're saying one thing, but they're really saying something else. And this is a good time too to hold on to that and not necessarily feel like you have to share. Because a lot of times people are not receptive when you offer unsolicited advice. Unsolicited advice. So that in that same breath,
I prefer my advice to be very slutty.
Yes. You slut that up. So just, also heed that too. Like in that same breath of what you're talking about, don't give people unsolicited advice unless someone is asking you specifically for feedback. You just hold on to it.
Even then. Just hold on to it.
Unless you want that. Like, sometimes, people go picking a fight, looking for a fight.
Yeah.
If you're in that vein, then.
No, thank you. Boundaries, people. Boundaries. This is what we're saying. Have them, heed them, boundaries. Love them, create them, honor them.
Oh, boundaries. If you want to know more about boundaries, we got a whole episode that focuses on that. But
well, I think it's important that during this season, people put a little bit of focus in learning how to care for others without being a doormat. Because I think what can happen is that we put ourselves out there in this energy, right? And then all of a sudden we feel like we've given so much of ourselves that your tank is empty. There's no more to give. And instead of realizing that you've made that choice, you're now projecting that onto other people. So you're making yourself a victim. Fucking snake plant. You're making yourself a victim and a doormat at the same time.
Yes.
So give yourself a little care, a little compassion. It's okay.
It is.
It's okay, friends.
Yeah. It is a good time. Maybe you've been doing that. You've been giving yourself that self-care and you've been working in that space. This is a good time to put yourself out there if you are looking for new relationships. So if you're romantically looking for a new relationship, the energy is really potent right now for making those good connections. If you're looking for new friendships, also a positive time. Maybe you're looking for some new play dates. School's out, but your kids are driving you bananas, even though you thought, can't wait for them to be home. I already know what's coming. And
You just had 3 days of no school because of the storms. And I talked to you at day 2 and you were ready to send your children to boarding school for 4 years, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Listen, it's the toughest and most rewarding job, also known as tough and most. And even on Mother's Day, I was like, it'd be really great if I could just not have any kids. Because I'm in that season where I'm around them all the time, right? So the gift would be going to a spa, having some downtime. I did get a meditation in, so I was happy about that. And we had soccer all day, and that was also fine. It wasn't, unbelievably enjoyable, but it was fine. Jeff wanted to have everyone take me out to dinner, and all of the kids did not want to participate. So Jeff took me out for a margarita pizza.
There you go. Where'd you go?
Anthony's.
Was it good?
It was delicious.
Perfect.
Yep, it was great. So the Cancer season, 2025, is really good for relationships and starting and nurturing.
You hear that, podcast sponsors?
That's right.
It's a really good time to connect with your mystic mamas. Just saying, shameless plug. Okay, so if we were going to give the listeners a Cancer season survival guide, what would you put in it?
A survival guide to get through the season?
Yep.
Okay. I think we touched on some already. Be aware of your emotions, but also be aware of the highs and lows of them and your moodiness, and just embrace that. Great time to start new projects. So survival guide 101. Is there something that you've been wanting to start, wanting to begin, but you've been putting it off? You've been, it's not the right time. This is the time. This is the time. Right around the beginning of when that new moon comes, take it then and ride it into the rest of the year, right? Because we're also right at that 6th, 7th month mark, right? So, and depending on what new year you follow, but in the 12-month period, we're in that mark. So it's just a good time to reflect on what has come to an end or what needs to come to an end, and then where are you going into the next 6 months.
Well, I think honoring your emotions without drowning in them is an important distinction during this season. So honoring them and putting that into something creative, like creating something, art, play, whatever it is, channeling those emotions in that way can be so healing. And of course, anything to do with water, right? Water magic, water rituals. But I think anything like going to the ocean, taking a bath, anything that you can literally cleanse yourself in that water is going to help support you during this season.
Agreed.
Plus, it's fucking hot.
I was just going to say, yeah. Yeah. It's easy to incorporate water at this time of year because everyone needs a nice cool down.
Did you and Jeff talk about our proposal?
Yes. I think Jeff's exact words were, that sounds like a really boring summer.
Charlie and I have decided that we're doing sober summer. And we're not big drinkers to begin with. So We'll
I'd
drink.
love to say we're not big drinkers, but I feel like we love craft beer.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes us big drinkers, but we enjoy a beverage.
Yeah. So you guys are out on the sober summer with us?
I haven't fully committed either way.
I'm disappointed in you, Rach.
That's okay. My kids are disappointed in me all the time. Emily shames me all the time. It's always fun having kids around. So speaking of, we've touched on my daughters being Cancerians. Who else do you have down that are some famous Cancer folk?
I mean, I have a list here.
Yeah.
Do you have a list?
I do.
Okay. I would say, let's start with the comedians that are on the list.
Okay.
Robin Williams.
I feel like Robin Williams, may he rest in spirit, he really was such a dynamic creature and had, I mean, his legacy just lives on. He is
like so incredible.
Yeah.
Have you watched Mrs. Doubtfire with the kids?
Hello!
Hello! It was run by Fruity.
Yes. Yeah, no, for sure.
No, we haven't watched it with Evie yet.
What?
I know. I'm a terrible parent. It's going to happen soon.
Scratch that. You're not a terrible parent. There's a lot of movies that have not been seen by you. So really, I think it's just a passed on genetic thing.
Yeah.
Honest to God, first Robin Williams movie, which is probably not the one that most children should see first, was Good Morning Vietnam. Have you ever watched that?
Yeah, it's been a long time.
It's a hard movie to watch.
Yeah.
Unbelievable movie, but fucking hard.
How old are you?
I want to say I was like 7 or 8.
Wow.
Way too young to be watching that movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, Robin Williams, what an incredible gift to the collective. Holy moly. Super gifted.
I mean, Will Ferrell too. They both have that duality of like having that sensitive side, but also being so funny and like just charged goofballs. Like
Will Ferrell.
Charged
I
goofballs.
want to meet Will Ferrell.
Did you see that he went to...
Oh, yeah. I already know what you're going to say.
Oh, what?
He went to a hockey game dressed as Buddy the Elf.
Yeah.
In character.
Yeah, it was so good.
He's done that on more than one occasion. He went to a Lakers game dressed as a security guard. And the security guards let him be dressed as a security guard. And then they did this whole act where Shaquille O'Neal found out about it at the game. And so they planned it where Will Ferrell went up and was kicking Shaquille O'Neal out of the Lakers game.
That's so good.
Like was walking him out, like forcing him out. He was just in Pittsburgh not too long ago. He was up at Arlecchino.
Unpopular opinion?
No, Alla Familia.
I'm not a fan of Beyonce. I said it.
Yeah, I'm like middle of the ground, right? Like I can appreciate her, right? I appreciate her artistic ability.
Right.
I think she's talented. I don't get the obsession.
Right.
But she's cool.
She's cool.
I mean, but I think I also am like a old school Beyonce fan. I don't know about all of the new stuff. I also am in a season of life where I'm just like, you know what? Too much shit comes out and culturally changes too fast for me to even remotely keep track of it.
Truth.
I mean, I watched that middle school guy and I'm like, cool. Those are the new words. What?
Mm-hmm.
Those are gone now. There's now newer words. I feel like Beyonce's like that.
Yeah.
Nothing's ever constant. It's always
always moving and changing, Rach.
Yes. Yeah.
Like this.
ASMR. All right.
I can't with that.
So
okay.
What else? So wait, we got to go back to some of the other cool peeps.
You know, Kristen Bell also hits this list.
I love Kristen.
And she's so dang funny. Have you seen the video of her with the sloth?
Yes. Where she cries?
Yes.
She like loses her mind.
It's incredible.
Yeah, she's definitely a high intuitive one over there, for sure. Faux show. You know who else is on the list who I've come to just admire on so many levels is Pamela Anderson.
Oh, really?
Yes. So in recent years, she did a documentary that is fucking fantastic and super interesting. I don't know the answer to that. Maybe Apple.
Okay.
The other thing is she doesn't wear any makeup.
I've seen this recently. It's fantastic.
And it's been like probably the last 5-7 years. And really it was her son who told her to like really get her artistic side out there, because her documentary really covers the beginning part of her career and how she got started. And as a woman who was, glorified for her tits and her ass and her body essentially, right? And not so much who she really was as a human and as a woman and as a mother. And so she's really stepped into her power. And so from an energy perspective, like she just gives off this energy of authenticity and of rawness. And you want to talk about not giving any fucks? She doesn't. And she is 100% attracting all of it, all of the abundance, all of the love, all of the praise for being just so raw and real, especially in Hollywood when that's really challenging to do.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure it's easy to get caught up in all of the hype and the glitz and the glamour and the
right.
Rah.
Right.
So there's a couple
Good for
fuckers
her.
that I'm not going to mention that are on that list.
Well, Meryl Streep.
Well, we can mention that fucker.
Yeah, we can mention that fucker.
I love Meryl. And we're a big, Only Murderers in the Building now
Only
family.
Murders in the Building.
Oh, the whole crew. Well,
It's
not
so
Isla,
good.
but
have you guys watched it? It's
yes.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Yeah, it's really good.
The late Princess Diana.
Mm-hmm. Frida Kahlo.
Oh, she's another one that's highly interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, her life was tragic in a lot of ways. Beautiful, but filled with a lot of, a lot of trauma.
Yeah.
A lot of deep things there, but highly artistic.
And that's
a
like,
woman
like the
before her
common
time.
theme here, right? Very artistic, creative people.
Yeah.
Another one of my favorites who's on this list is Lana Del Rey. I just think she's so fabulous. She's so creative.
I love
everything she creates.
She just married a crocodile guy.
I know literally nothing about her personal life. I just love her music.
Not crocodile. That's wrong. Alligator.
What?
I think he's an alligator catcher from Louisiana. I'm almost positive. And I think he's like 15 years her senior.
Did she marry Joey Magic?
No. Oh, dear. All right.
Any other favorites?
People? Tom Hanks.
Oh, okay. I didn't know he was on that list.
Yeah, Tom Hanks is on there. Another just incredible human. What a gift to the collective.
Ooh, speaking of only murders, Selena Gomez is on this list.
Is she?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she's not on mine, but I love her too.
And she is so great about talking about mental health.
Yes.
And self-love, and I adore her for that.
Yes. Yeah, and she came up in that era when, it was all about image and being young and being popular and successful and not talking about all of the side effects of how that can affect you when you're in a place of so much growth and development, and she had health issues too. She also had high profile relationships that blew up and crumbled, and having to like navigate that. Yeah, I give her a lot of credit for just being authentic and real too.
Agreed. And she like can't get away from people having to comment on her body one way or the other. It drives me nuts anytime I see something.
Yeah.
Or like pop up in my like Instagram feed or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't understand why we still think it's okay to comment on people's bodies.
And for the haters in the back, your body size does not define who the fuck you are. So I don't know like why that's such a hard message to understand.
Right.
Like,
but you see how people like troll people still on the internet about the way that they look, regardless of how they look. I'm like, I don't fucking get it. What? No. You do not have anything better to do than this?
I love when the trolls get trolled, though.
I know.
If you were to run into Selena Gomez on the street, I do get a little
bit of joy out of when people get trolled on the internet that are trolls.
Yes. Yeah. I love when influencers troll the trolls.
Yeah, it's so good, and it's becoming more popular now too.
Yeah, and it should. And it's probably going to have negative side effects because, they get a hold of your employer and they're like, I'm sorry, is this the character of person that you're employing at your company? Don't you guys have like OKRs and KPIs that you track to? I'm pretty sure that's not one of them. Just putting it out there.
Rachel's going all project manager on us.
Sorry. You like how I threw out those acronyms? For those of you who want to know, KPIs are key performance indicators and OKRs are achievement key results. So,
okie dokie, artichoke.
Yeah. All right.
Shall we do final thoughts?
My final thoughts for the Cancer season are enjoy life. Get out there, go swimming, go rafting, go creek walking. That's a big one for me. I love to go creek walking and then try to find treasures like creek glass or gemstones, or I like to find crayfish, but then I put them back. But those are what I did as a child, and those always bring me massive amounts of joy. I love to do it with the kids. Go to a local park and just be out in the elements and start something fresh, start something new. Journal what you start so you can reflect back on it. But it's a really good season. All right, so key takeaways. Krystyn.
Yes, ma'am.
What are your key takeaways for our folks?
I think one thing is that it's okay to say no and just say yes to the things that are bringing you immense pleasure. So maybe you're not setting boundaries right now, but you might be reinforcing them a little bit, and only in a way that you can still be bringing joy to your life every single day. Like, you're like, no, I'm not going to do X, Y, and Z because I do want to go creek walking and I do want to go, do a full moon or a new moon meditation at a local park or at the beach. So I think the biggest thing is just honoring your emotions and whatever you're feeling that you need right now, and then giving it to yourself.
Yeah, that's a great message.
Like, why not? Why not?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Get in touch with those emotions. This is all clairsentience. You want to get into some good meditations, look up some good clairsentient meditations. Those will help you with feeling what you're feeling, where you're feeling, why you're feeling.
Yep.
So get in touch with that Claire. Also, there's a couple songs that if you're into listening to some tunage around this time, anything related to water, naturally, you could figure that out. But also Casey Musgraves, Rainbow, and Tom Petty, Here Comes My Girl.
I was just listening to Casey Musgraves the other day, randomly.
Yeah, she's so talented.
Yeah, she is.
I love her voice. Love her voice. So there you go. Go listen to some
friends.
Good music and get in a pool and do a meditation. Ooh, that's such a good idea.
Yep. Everybody's a little psychic during Cancer season, so dive into it.
Report back. Let us know.
Psychic,
we want to know. Tell us all the things.
All right, friends. Thanks for being here today. We really appreciate your support on our podcast. We love what we do here, and we wouldn't be able to do it without you guys listening to us. So,
yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right. Big thanks to our interns today. First day with us in recording, and we're happy to have them.
I know. We really are.
Yeah.
We're get you guys for you guys too.
Kitty cat names that she put. Yeah. We should do it.
If you guys would be down for it, we would definitely do it.
Oh, 2 mystic interns. Here they come.
Oh my
God. It's going to be so good.
All right.
Okay.
There we go.
We're going to change the schedule. Here we go. All right.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.